Hi there, and welcome to Calculations and Things. Today, we are going to focus on financial ratios with a specific focus on liquidity ratios. Our first ratio is going to be the current ratio. So this is where we take our current assets and we divide it by our current liabilities. The ideal in a business would be 2-to-1, which means that for every R1 or $1 of short-term debt or liability that you have, you need to have R2 or $2 of assets. Our current assets consist of inventory, debtors, trade and other receivables, and the actual cash in your bank. Our current liabilities or short-term debt will be creditors, trade and other payables, and if you have a bank overdraft. Let's look at the statement of financial position, or also known as the balance sheet. We're going to take our current assets there next to the blue arrow, and we are going to take the 16,126 of our 2022 financial year. We are then going to take that amount and divide it by current liabilities, which will be that 14,399. When we look at our ratio, we have current assets divided by current liabilities, and it will be the 16,126 divided by 14,399, and we get 1,12. Now remember that the ideal is a 2-to-1 to cover our short-term debt. So we have R1,12, which is R1.12 to cover every R1 of liability, which means that our business is still in a good space, but ideally we would like to have R2 to cover R1 of liability. Let's have a look at the asset test ratio. In this ratio, we deduct inventory. And the reason why we do that is we want to see where our business is if we don't sell any stock. Now, this ratio is also known as a quick ratio. And ideally, we want a 1-to-1 ratio, which means that for every R1 of debt we have R1 of cash to pay off our debt. Let's have a look at our statement of financial position. We're going to use our current assets amount, that's 16,126 from our 2022 financial year. And we are going to deduct our inventory amount, which is the 8,709 to get our amount. And then we are going to divide that by our current liabilities here next to the orange arrow, which is 14,399. So here's our ratio, current assets minus inventory divided by current liabilities. So it's the 16,122, which is my total for current assets. We're going to minus the 8,709, which represents my inventory amount, and then divided by our current liabilities, which is the 14,399. We get 7,417 divided by 14,399, and our answer is 0.52. So this means for every R1 of liability that we have, we only have 52 cents to cover it. Ideally, we want a 1-to-1, so the business might need access to short-term cash if we don't sell any stock to ensure that we are able to cover or meet the needs of our current liabilities. When we look at our third ratio, we're going to look at the cash ratio, and that is the actual cash on hand or the cash component of the business in relation to the current liabilities, because we would like to see if we only take the cash component, we take the debtors away, we take the inventory away, what do we have to meet the short-term liabilities? So if we look at the statement of financial position, way at the bottom, we are going to look at cash and cash equivalents, and that amount from our 2022 financial year is 5,374. We are going to divide that by our orange 14,399, which is our current liability amount. And we will take the 5,374 divided by 14,399, and we will get a 0.37. Remember now the ideal is 1-to-1, so we don't have enough cash on hand to meet our short-term debt, so we might have to go and borrow or ask investors to give cash to the business so that they can meet their short-term liabilities. So those are the three ratios that we are going to cover today. Click and subscribe for more videos, and go and have a look at the rest of the videos that we have online.